Byron, care to walk us through the engineering project delivery model?
Yeah, so whether you're in the position of just starting out your capital investment portfolio or you have a mature portfolio, it's important to ask yourself the fundamental question of why you need an EPD model in the first place. And by model, we simply mean a set of common practices and accountability for execution. So this could range from formal standards and SOPs to simple best practices, reference guides, and checklists. So I've heard over the years quite a few companies boast about being able to approve major capital investments with a single PowerPoint slide, or PMs that say, for example, hey, I don't need this process stuff. I know how to execute projects. I've been doing it all my life. But in reality, the inherent complexity of most capital projects warrants a much more defined approach. So the bottom line is, by having a model, we're able to deliver very efficiently, and that drives speed. And in this industry, speed really does translate into patient lives. The other thing to consider is that capital is always a constrained commodity, and it's a strategic and a competitive resource. So we really do need to be accountable to the organization to spend the money wisely. And of course, there's an underlying need to ensure regulatory and corporate compliance. And if you don't have a model or standards, that becomes very difficult to achieve consistently. And then finally, without a defined model, it's difficult to implement continuous improvement. Because as your portfolio grows and maybe each project is executed differently depending on the PM, if you learn something or if you develop an idea, where do you go to document that idea and then roll it out for the upcoming projects? So it's very helpful to have a model, a nimble model that lets you do that quickly. Another way to look at this is based on many decades of combined experience, we've learned that without a defined EPD model or process, certain negative outcomes, in fact, become very, very predictable. So I won't go through all of these, but just as an example, if you rush forward without a well-defined charter, you'll inevitably result in projects that don't meet the business requirements fully, and that can lead to follow-on projects that close the gap, delayed timing of product delivery, and generally very, very bad things for the organization. Same thing with incomplete design reviews. A lot of times project teams go through a lot of design meetings but fail to kind of summarize and review that design with their clients. And that results in changes late in design or execution where they inherently inflict the maximum amount of damage on budget and schedule. Insufficient governance leads to late course corrections or reversal of assumed decisions, causing a lot of project disruption. And then there are any number of issues that erode client confidence, such as having safety issues, inflicting property damage, incomplete or inaccurate turnover information. So all of those things have occurred on our projects over the years. And what we try to do is develop processes and tools that really target those things without becoming overly burdensome. So in summary, we would argue that over the course of many projects, a defined EPD process will produce much more consistent results than relying on experience and tribal knowledge alone. And by tribal knowledge, we really refer to the Six Sigma term, referring to knowledge that is sort of known, but very poorly documented. So this is quite a detailed slide, but we wanted to include it for future reference as a takeaway in response to this why bother question. And the objectives boil down to really ensuring regulatory compliance, reducing business risk, and then driving efficiency and reliability. And leveraging that begin with the end in mind principle, your objective should really be to develop a process that is client-focused, which means based on how the client defines value, scalable over a range of projects, anywhere from small, simple equipment projects to large, complex greenfield facilities, nimble, meaning it allows you to react and improve and adapt it very quickly, lean, meaning you're avoiding red tape and form pollution and really focusing on trust and accountability around your defined process. And then finally, leveraging the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. If you have difficulty writing down your procedures or explaining to others, you're probably going to have a difficult time implementing it.